In this video, I'm turning this enclosure into a leopard gecko's paradise because this will be the vacation home for my leopard gecko Phoenix. Now this is Phoenix's current enclosure. This whole enclosure cannot fit outside of this rack system without me physically taking off this leg. And that's not gonna do if I'm taking this animal to college with me. Now we know why we're building this. We have to now figure out what this enclosure needs to look like for the animal's best interest.
Now, after a little bit of Googling, I figured out what I want to do. So we're going to be building a frame like this enclosure is going to be, just instead of using the inside of the enclosure like I have in the past with Einstein's enclosure, I'm going to do it completely outside of the enclosure. So now that that is set up and covered with plastic so the concrete won't stick, we need to build the frame of foam. And for this video, I'm challenging myself to use as many scraps that I've collected over the years of building enclosures to use only as many new pieces of foam as possible so I can save and reduce waste on this enclosure build. Because I'm trying to use as many scraps as possible and not as many new pieces, I'm using only big pieces of scrap, which means there are going to be 5 main pieces. The 2 back pieces, the angled piece that goes along those 2 to help combine them together and look a little bit more cohesive, the hide, and the big rock that I'm going to use as a test piece with a new toy I have, and I'll show you in a second. Now we can move on to concrete. This is the Buddy Rhodes concrete mix I've used in the past. It's one of my favorite mediums because it's pretty malleable, but also it is real rock, but also fake rock because it is concrete. While I'm getting my hands thoroughly dirty and covered in concrete, I want to give a huge shout out to my Patreon members that help me do everything I do here at All Around Reptiles. They get bonus content that you don't get to see on a normal YouTube video and special guests like animals that you don't know about yet. One thing I learned with this whole building process is nothing is going to be square if you use cardboard and a plastic cloth covering everything. So this is me just filling in all the gaps and making it tighter to the actual squareness of the glass enclosure.
Now that we have all 5 pieces completed in their concreting, now we need to color them all. Now in previous videos, and how you actually use this is by using a brush with a little bit of spraying on water to mix in the color deep into the grout here, but I bought a new toy. This is an airbrush. Now I use it on different projects, so that's why I originally bought it, but because I was doing this project right now, I'm like, let's see if this will actually work as a viable option instead of just using brushes all the time. Be able to get a base coat with this and then detail with brushes and even a finer tip of the airbrush. With that being said, I'm going to get this mixed up with a good portion of water to thin it out as much as possible to get a light coating on everything, and we'll see how this airbrush works.
Well, the airbrush did not go to plan. What you're seeing right now is I'm painting on the actual wash, but I already did a wash in the black with the actual airbrush, but it did not do basically anything to change the actual color. Now, looking back at the footage, I probably put way too much water in it to dilute it too much because I didn't want such a harsh contrast, but this is what I ended up doing. I ended up covering it with the normal glaze that I've done in the past with just the normal paintbrush method. After I did the paintbrush, I went back with the glazes, and instead of diluting them, I put them with no dilution straight into the airbrush, and it worked pretty well. So now it's time for the final install.
Well, there we have it, folks. That is the finished enclosure. Now, unfortunately, this guy can't come with me because it doesn't fit in the enclosure where I want it to fit, but that's okay. The reason why this enclosure is still down here is because I'm about to take it up to college, where her vacation home is supposed to stay until I come home from college, which hopefully that means I graduated. With that being said, that is going to do it for this video on Art House. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you want to see more awesome enclosure builds like this and a lot of cool things coming soon, subscribe.